Naam, ni makala ya kwanza ya mbio za Eldoret City Marathon. Tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka katika jiji la Eldoret, eneo la bonde la Ufa. Picha zinakujia moja kwa moja, picha safi kutoka kwa mpiga picha wangu hapa aliyemakinika Simon Chepkwony. Na kikosi kizima tuko hapa kuhakikisha kuwa tunakuletea matangazo, tunakuletea picha moja kwa moja kutoka kwa mashindano haya, makala ya kwanza ya mashindano haya, makala ambayo bila shaka yataingia katika vitabu vya historia. Hivi sasa tumekamilisha saa 1:30 na mashindano kama yalivyo, kama ilivyo ada, kama ilivyo kawaida, upande wa wanaume na wanawake wanajikaza kuhakikisha kuwa ndio wanachukua ushindi. Na hivi sasa upande wa wanaume mambo yamebadilika, manake Philip Kangogo kidogo ameonyesha uchovu, na Ezekiel nambari 304 Ezekiel Kipto ameonyesha ukakamavu wake tangu mwanzo. Alijaribu kuchovya, lakini hivi sasa anachukua uongozi na wanajaribu kujitenga wawili hao na wanariadha wengine, tukiwa tunaelekea kilomita 30 hivi sasa. Kwa hiyo ni wakati ambapo ndio unatenganisha mibabe na pia wanariadha waliobobea, manake wote wamejikaza ipasavyo kuhakikisha kuwa wanashamiri katika mbio hizi. Upande wa kinadada, Sharon angali anaongoza, angali kidedea, japo kuna uchovu kiasi, lakini amekula ng'ombe mzima, kumesalia mkia. Kwa nini simalizo mkia? Ndivyo anavyojiambia akiwa anaongoza. Upande wa wanaume amerejea tena Philip Kangogo akiwa na Ezekiel Kipto. Ndio wawili hawa, inaonekana mwisho wa siku, acha nisibashiri itakuwa vipi, lakini ndio wawili ambao wanaelekea utepeni, tukiwa tumesalia na kama kilomita 12 hivi kukamilisha makala ya kwanza mbio za Eldoret City Marathon, moja kwa moja kutoka katika kaunti ya Uasin Gishu. Ni mashindano ambayo yamekuwa na upinzani wa hali ya juu, wanaume wakionyeshana ubabe, kinadada pia wakionyeshana ukakamavu, ili kuhakikisha kuwa mwisho wa siku wanaitwa washindi, mwisho wa siku wanaitwa mabingwa na kutawazwa shilingi milioni 3 pesa taslimu. Hakuna kurudisha chenji hapo. Ni mashindano ambayo yamekuwa na ushindani wa hali ya juu. Wanaume hapo awali tulipitia vile vichochoro, tulipitia ile mizunguko ya kijiji cha mwanzo, lakini hivi sasa tumeingia katikati ya jiji, na kama unavyoona mashabiki wamejitokeza kwa wingi, mashabiki wakiwapa motisha, morali, kuambia kumesalia na takriban kilomita 10 na kukamilisha.
Imeandikwa ngapi? Hiyo ni kilomita ngapi?
Ule unaona ule wa tatu. Sawa. Haya.
Ongeza. Ongeza.
Naam, hivi sasa tumeanza kubaini mbivu na mbichi. Ezekiel Chebi Kipto ndiye anaongoza hivi sasa, nambari ni 304 na mashabiki wanamfahamu, manake ni mtu ambaye amekulia sehemu hizi, ni mtu ambaye ni barabara amezizoea, anafanyia mazoezi huku, hali ya hewa pia ameizoea. Na kidogo kukupatia historia fupi ni kwamba alizaliwa tarehe 3 mwezi Januari mwaka 1991. Ezekiel Chebi Kipto ambaye ndio anaongoza hivi sasa ameshiriki katika mashindano tofauti, mashindano mbalimbali. Alianza kushiriki katika mashindano ya mbio za kilomita 1500 katika jiji la Eindhoven kule Uholanzi katika bara la Ulaya, na aliweza kuandikisha muda wa dakika 13 sekunde 54.48 miongoni mwa mida bora katika mbio hizo. Baada ya hapo akapanda cheo kidogo kuingia katika kilomita 10 mbio. Alishiriki katika mashindano ya mbio za kilomita 10 nchini Ujerumani. Ilikuwa mnamo mwaka 2010 akiandikisha muda wa dakika 27 sekunde 54. Kisha unyo akapanda akaongeza 5 kilomita ikawa ni kilomita 15, ambapo pia aliweza kushamiri katika mashindano ya kilomita 15. Baadaye akaamua kujitosa kwenye mbio za nusu marathon. Aliweza kutia fora kuandikisha muda dakika 59 na sekunde 5, ambayo ukiona mwanariadha ameweka muda chini ya saa moja, basi si mtu wa kuchukuliwa kimzaha, si mtu ambaye unaweza mwangalia tu hivi, bali mwangalie kwa macho yote matatu. Ni mtu ambaye amejiamini, mtu ambaye anaweza kuandikisha muda bora. Baada hapo nchini Uholanzi Oktoba mwaka 2016 akajitosa mzima katika mbio za marathon na akaweza kuandikisha muda wa dakika wa saa 2 dakika 6 na sekunde 7. Kwa hiyo katika wote ambao tumewazungumzia hii leo, tumemzungumzia Kipkirui, mwanzo alikuwa anaongoza. Tumemzungumzia pia bwana Boniface ambaye pia ni miongoni mwa watu walikuwa wanaongoza. Philip Kangogo alikuwa anaongoza. Hivi sasa anayeongoza ni Ezekiel Kipto Chebi ambaye ndiye ameweka muda bora katika mashindano ya mwaka huu, mtu ambaye bila shaka muda wake unaangaliwa miongoni mwa vigezo ambao vitaangaliwa na washikadau wa riadha kuwa kitu ambacho kinamweka katika safu ya mbele, watu ambao wanapiga upato kushamiri na kuibuka kidedea. Lakini wanariadha wote ambao wako katika kikundi cha kwanza hichi, wanariadha 8 hivi sasa 9 ambao wako katika kikundi cha kwanza wana uwezo. Hivi sasa tunapanda milima, tumeacha lami, tumeingia katika tambarare, kidogo barabara riadha utapitia kila hali ya barabara, mabonde, milima, barabara iliyonywe, kushuka, kutakuwa na pite kona huku na kule, kushoto kulia. Ndio changamoto na ndizo zinafanya mwanariadha kuwa mwanariadha bora. Endapo utaweza kufanikiwa basi kupitia changamoto zote hizi na kuibuka kidedea, ndipo mwisho wa siku unakabidhiwa zile fedha na unaambiwa kweli kuwa baba ulistahili. Haikuwa kazi rahisi. Wanariadha wanajituma. Amerudi tena Philip Kangogo, amesongea nyuma kidogo Ezekiel Chebi, na bado wapo wanariadha ambao wanaosaidia kuwapa motisha. Wapo wanariadha pia ambao wamejipa moyo kuwa pia wao wamo, pia wao wanaweza kuhesabia miongoni mwa mibabe, miongoni mwa watu ambao wataandikisha historia leo katika makala ya kwanza mbio za Eldoret City Marathon. Kazi si rahisi. Kama nilivyokuambia awali, kikosi kizima cha KTN kimekita kambi katika eneo la Eldoret, na hivi sasa naenda kwa mwenzangu Robinson Okenya ambaye yuko katika upande ule mwingine kumalizia ili angalie, je, kuna nani huko? Robinson, uwanja ni wako.
Well, thanks a lot, Abdullah Ahmed, for holding forth right there in the morning with the Swahili commentary from the start. But we switch it here and we take it off with the English commentary right here in Eldoret town. And joining me here for commentary at Eldoret is none other than Jonathan Comment, brother. Will be taking this and analyzing and dissecting the Eldoret City Marathon. Remember, it's the inaugural audition taking place right here, and we are expecting the winner to come to the finish line here in Eldoret town anytime from now, and the winner will be getting 3 million shillings. And Comment, as we take a look at the leader in the ladies marathon, that is Sharon Chemutai, what do you make of the course that they are taking this year here in Eldoret City Marathon?
Of course, this is a point-to-point course. We can compare this course to Boston Marathon, which has 3 turns and it is point-to-point. Only that this one has a loop in town, unlike in Boston. Yeah.
So you are talking about comparing this to Boston Marathon, and I mean, you've been to different marathons around the world, and how does Eldoret City Marathon compare to other courses around the world?
Okay, this is a new course, of course, and it is not IAAF satisfied. But looking at Boston, it has 3 turns. Look at London, it has 19. Look at Berlin, it has 17. Look at Chicago, it has 20. Chicago has 31, while New York has 26. So, and this one is a flat course, just like Berlin and London. And I'm very happy to note that we are running in a flat course today, and London Marathon is almost about to take off in 2 hours' time.
Yes, remember, it's a day where marathons are taking place around the world. Eldoret City Marathon taking place right now, and of course later on it will be the London Marathon taking place in the British capital, where a number of Kenyans are expected to start that, including 2-time London Marathon Eliud Kipchoge. And Comment, now that we don't have the elite athletes right here taking place in this Eldoret City Marathon, is it a change in the crop of athletes that we have when we talk about the marathon?
Of course, you understand, Eldoret is a city of champions, and this is where athletes are born and bred. They start from here, take off from here, go straight to big races abroad, and become elite like the others.
And of course, we are taking a look at the leaders in the men's race right here in Eldoret. And remember, Eldoret is one of the towns that has attracted a number of athletes who have invested in Eldoret town. What do you make of that? We have a number of buildings that have been named named after a lot of international cities around the world.
Of course, this is a town that is known for athletics. Initially, Eldoret was called Railway Number 64. That's why we have even 64 Stadium here. And athletics has contributed a lot to the growth of this town. Looking at some of the buildings in town, for example, Johannesburg Plaza in downtown here is named after Lavan Rotich, who won the World Cup in Johannesburg. We have Rieti House, owned by none other than Olympic champion Noah Ngeny, who who broke the world record, the world 1,000 meters record in Rieti in Italy some years back. That was in 1999. So, yeah.
And recently we saw Vivian Cheruiyot put up a metro station called Oslo.
Oslo, yeah. She named it Oslo because she made good money in Oslo.
Yes.
Yeah, also Diamond League in Norway.
So that is why we have a number of top athletes coming to invest in Eldoret town. So let's take a look at the list we have of the men that have registered for this year's the marathon that is currently going on. That is the inaugural edition of the Eldoret City Marathon. And we have 330 athletes.
Yeah.
Of these 330 athletes, we don't have an elite athlete. What do you make of this?
Of these 300, we only have one elite athlete, and that is Osea Mwok Majarinyang.
Yes.
The man who has made to the national cross-country team 7 times in a row. You can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not a big shock that we don't have the elite athletes here. This is a playing ground for the upcoming athletes to test their talents and then spite to great heights. Yeah.
Of course, we have Sharon still leading the ladies' race right there, and we expect probably she's leading this race, and the second place lady right in that marathon rather is way off Sharon's lead, and probably she might be taking this smiling all the way to the bank. Remember, 3 million shillings up for grabs, and this is the highest prize that we have for marathon in the country.
Yes.
Comment.
Yes. This is the highest paying marathon so far. You can imagine Cass Marathon used to pay 1.5 a year. Standard Chartered Bank Marathon in Nairobi pays 1.5. But in terms of entries, when you look at the Standard Chartered Bank Marathon in Nairobi and Cass Marathon, they used to attract so many, they build so many crowds here. But I also expect that maybe this race coming in few years, it will attract a number of spectators.
Yes, talking about the weather, it's now drizzling, and remember in the morning we had the sun shining brightly, but it's now drizzling, a little bit of change of weather, and almost 18 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
How is this likely to affect the marathon?
In my view, I think this race will be a bit faster, given that it's not hot and there are no strong winds. And I also expect the same to happen. If the same would happen, also the same happens in London.
Yeah.
Two hours from now, it will be a perfect one. Yeah.
Taking you back to these type of conditions, and now that it started drizzling, we don't know if it's going to pour later on. If it pours, how is that going to affect it? Are we going to see, the pace slow?
Of course, yes. If it rains, the pace will slow down and the time will be a bit slow. And even adaptation of most athletes,
yes.
Most of the athletes will be affected. Some athletes are not good in running under any conditions, so it affects their performances. Yeah.
Yes, and remember, Eldoret City Marathon is a brainchild of none other than the athletics legend, that is Moses Tanui, a legend in his own right. And if we talk about Moses Tanui, he's he won it on the track, and he's a person who brought glory to Kenya, and this marathon is a brainchild of Moses Tanui, and you've covered him a number of times, and what does it bring when you talk about him?
Yeah, the name Moses Tanui alone tells me a lot in athletic circles. I remember Moses Tanui watching him in 1991 when he won 10,000 meters in Tokyo World Championships.
Yes.
And then in 1996, he was on his way winning his first victory in Boston. 1998, winning the second victory in Boston. 1997, becoming the first man in the world to run half marathon under 1 hour in Milan.
Yes. You
can imagine. And then the year 2000, he finished second behind former MP of Jesumei.
Yes.
In Boston again. So this is a guy who has done marathon and has done it perfectly. Yes. Okay, fine.
So it's now all about giving back to the community, and something that stands out, we have a number of athletes that are here just to watch, you know, the young crop that are taking part in this marathon that is currently going on, where we have Sharon leading in the ladies marathon, and we have still the men. We have five men still in the leading pack. A number of athletes, elite athletes, have come to watch these athletes, you know, give it their all for the 3 million shillings that is up for grabs. And, you know, what does that show?
For one reason, this is a race that has been organized by athletes. If you look at even the organization, it's very different from what I've seen all over the years. Here you see athletes at the water points. Penina Aruse is at the 35-kilometer mark.
Yes.
There is Felix Limo here, the former London Marathon winner.
Yes.
Here. There is Christopher Kosgei, the former world champion, 5,000 meters, is here at the finishing line. All of them as officials. You can imagine what's happening. Yeah. Again, it inspires them so much. The woman leading here, I bet my friend here, Okenye,
yes,
you will see her 2-3 years competing in Boston or Berlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I might ask you, Komen, you know, we have 3 counties that have been known to produce, you know, a number of athletes, and we were speaking before about these 3 counties, and you're telling me Eldoret does not produce athletes. The athletes come from Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet. You know, why is it that they come to Eldoret?
Initially, athletes from Nandi, right from Kipchoge Keno in 96, who won his first medal in 1965 at the Commonwealth Games in Brazzaville, Congo Brazzaville, he lives in Eldoret. All the way, Pamela, Janet Chepgoskei, Alfred Kirwayego here, Aspel Kibrov is here, he lives here. All of them live here. Why? There are plenty of opportunities for business here in this town. Also, the cost of investment here is good, unlike in Kapsabet or Iten. It's been very good for so many years, but nowadays I can see Iten and Kapsabet are growing, but to hit the record of Eldoret, it might take them some time. Yeah.
On your screen, the leading pack in the men's marathon. Remember, the men's marathon was flagged off at 8 a.m. this morning, and the women's marathon was flagged off at 7:30 a.m. by the Deputy President William Ruto, that here at Uasin Gishu County. Remember, this is the inaugural edition of Eldoret City Marathon. We expect the winner to be coming here to Eldoret town in a few minutes. And remember, they will be doing some loops in town to make sure they cover the 42 kilometers that they are expected before coming here to the finishing line at Eldoret town, where they will be received by the Deputy President, that is William Ruto, who completed the 5-kilometer fundraise earlier on in the morning. Remember, the 5-kilometer fundraise took place earlier in the morning right here, and the weather, as we said, has decided to change, and right now it's raining. The skies have decided to pour on us a bit, and so we expect probably this also to affect the athletes as the marathon continues. And Komen, as the weather has changed, and we've spoken about this, what are we going to expect?
There will be a bit of it will affect performances, but slightly, not so much, given that the weather just changed a few minutes into the race. Yes, into the last stages of the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, of course, we are seeing the leaders in the men's and women's marathon, but we expect them to be coming to the finish line in a few minutes from any time right now. We have a number of governors right here that have come also to witness the inaugural edition of the Eldoret City Marathon that is taking place. And we have the leader right there in the women's marathon, that is the 42 kilometers marathon. Remember, we did not have the half marathon in the inaugural edition. It's just the full marathon, that is the 42-kilometer marathon. And the leader coming in right now, almost coming to the finish line here at Eldoret town, and she's almost guaranteed to get the 3 million shillings that is up for grabs. What do you make of her running, Komen?
She looks a very strong. Look at the economical movement of the arms, the textile running style, and the base. even that she only has less than a kilometer to go, she's strong enough, and she's a very promising athlete. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Of course, as Komena said, looking at the way she's running, she's probably expected to come in first. Of course, right up by her side is the pacemaker, and we'll be seeing her come in any time from now. That is the women's leader. And remember, the men's leading pack is also there. 5 men still trying to test each other's wit to see who will break off first. And as the chase for the 3 million Kenya shillings continues in both the men's and women's marathon. And Komena, I want you to bring you into this. We've taken a look at the list of all the athletes that are taking place in this. You've spoken about the 7-time common, rather cross-country, athlete that is taking place in this. But we also have other athletes. We were going through the list and taking a look at the athletes that registered for this. He's not the only one. We have other athletes that have registered for this. And what do you make of them coming into this?
We have Frida Domokole, who made a national cross-country team while she was a standard 6 pupil at Kaptabuk Primary School in West Pokot.
She was still young back
then.
Very
young girl, making the junior team at the World Cross Country Championship several years back, and she's still here, still going. That was 2002. I remember very well. Yeah.
Yes, of course, when the winner comes in, we'll be crossing over to Hassan Juma. Remember, it's all 2 kilometers to go for the ladies. We'll be crossing over to Hassan Juma when they finish that, probably in the next 10 minutes. The winner, the leader, probably Sharon Chemutai, will be coming in. We are expecting her to probably take the first position in this race because she has a big gap with her lead, and she'll be coming in. And Komen, as we look at how Sharon Chemutai is taking her paces right here with a pacemaker right by her side, and probably in the next 10 minutes she would have covered the 2 kilometers that are remaining. She's done rather 40 so far.
No, it won't take 10 minutes.
That's
too much. Yeah. She can only take 7 minutes if it's allowed.
7 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll also want to know what her time will be in the inaugural edition of this marathon. And all eyes after this definitely will be at the London Marathon. And Doma has been set here at Eldoret for the athletics lovers, to come out and watch. After finishing watching the Eldoret City Marathon, then they turn their attention to the London Marathon. Remember, this is acts as a precursor to that. And the numbers, the turnout is awesome. People have turned out to watch this, Gomen.
Yes, they have come. They have turned out in good numbers to watch this race. Given this is the first edition, how about the next and the third? It will be wonderful.
You expect to see more numbers?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And you take a look at other marathons that we've had that are taking place in Eldoret. Normally, the turnout is very high.
Well over 100,000 lining up from here to Kapsabet, you can imagine.
Yes, of course, we have a number of people that have turned out on the streets just to watch the Eldoret City Marathon, and this probably is why this is where rather we have Eldoret as one of the biggest places where you find athletes, and that's why we have this huge turnout on the streets for people to watch the athletes.
Yeah, the entire North Rift region is a region in the world. I can tell you that it has the highest concentration of athletes. There is not a place like this in the world.
And the love for athletics, is that what is inspiring these people, to come out there?
Yeah, of course, it's about motivation, the role models, and the inspiration from our great athletes who've made a mark in the world map. From Kipchoge Keino, the likes of Moses Kiptanui, the 3-time world steeplechase champion, Noah Ngeny and the others, Benjamin Limu. They've been doing very good, and they still inspire most of the athletes here. I can see Susan Sirma here.
Yes.
Mama Mama Susan Thirma is here with us. The first woman to win a medal several years back at the Commonwealth Games.
Of course, the ladies' marathon almost coming to an end, probably 1.3 kilometers to go. Sharon Chemutai is still leading that race. She's now made a time of 2 hours, 31 minutes and some seconds, as we saw on the clock right there. That was on your screens a few minutes ago. She's almost coming to the finish line here in Eldoret, and she's there taking a few turns before coming into the finish line. Remember, Hassan Juma is on standby and will be having a reaction when she finishes that marathon, the ladies marathon, and she's out probably 5 or 6 minutes from coming to the finishing line here in Eldoret town. And as you can see, it's almost clear that she's the favorite to win this. Nobody behind her, and if there is one behind her, we can't she has to be miles away because we can't see her and comment. Of course, now we are paying attention to this before we cross over still to the women's marathon, rather to the men's marathon. This is what we are paying attention to, only almost 5 minutes away. And Sharon Chemutai probably or is almost winning the Eldoret City Marathon. That is the women's category.
Yeah, I don't doubt. Looking at the way she's taking the paces.
Yes.
Sharon Chemutai is no doubt a very good athlete. Yeah.
Of course, right there, she is almost coming to Zion Mall where the finish line is, and remember, she will be received right there at the finish line by Deputy President William Ruto, who is right here, standing at the finishing line. Remember, we'll also be crossing over to Hassan Juma, who's also at the finish line. She's almost coming to the finish line, a few meters out from the finish line. The men's marathon still going on. The 5 men in the leading pack still trying to outwit each other. Nobody wants to break through. We've done almost 1.5 hours for the men's marathon, still going on. The 5 men in the leading pack still trying to outmuscle each other, but nobody wants to break through from the leading pack. Comment.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of mind games in the men's race. These guys, none of them is trying to break away. So I think they're saving energy for the last half of the race. I guess so. Yeah.
So of course we go back to the women's marathon that is almost coming to an end, and of course the focus is on Sharon Chemutai, who's leading that marathon. They're about to come to the finishing line here at Zion Mall. They're almost making that turn. So we cross over from the men's marathon and move to the women's marathon, almost coming to an end. Sharon Chemutai right there, almost coming to an end here at next to Zion Mall here at Eldoret town. So we move over to the women's marathon, almost coming to an end, less than 700 meters before the race ends. And Sharon Chemutai, the winner of the inaugural edition Eldoret City Marathon, Sharon Chemutai, there you have it. She is your winner, coming in right there on your screen. Sharon Chemutai, the winner of the inaugural edition Eldoret City Marathon, Sharon Chemutai.
Kwanza ya mashindano ya Eldoret City Marathon ambazo zimeandaliwa katika Sharon, mbio zilikuwaje? Naam, Sharon Chemutai ndiye ametoa ushindi wa awamu ya kwanza ya mbio hizi za Eldoret City Marathon kwa muda wa masaa 2 dakika 29 na sekunde za kuhesabu. Umepumua kidogo, naweza tukaongea naye kidogo tu? Njoo tuongee kidogo, 2 matatu. Njoo kidogo tu Sharon. Ni sawa.
Of course, Sharon Chemutai, the winner of the 2018 edition of the Eldoret City Marathon, coming in a time of 2 hours 20, that's the unofficial time, 2 hours 29 minutes and 02 seconds, but we'll be confirming the official time from the officials right here at the Eldoret City. She is the winner of the 3 million shillings that was the prize money for the winner of the 2018, that is the inaugural edition of the Eldoret City Marathon. Komen, when she crossed that finishing line, you were telling me about her taking part in Boston Marathon.
She's called Sharon Cherop. She's from Marakwet. She retired recently from KDF. She won Boston in 2012, and she had a bronze at the 2011 World Athletics Championships in Daegu. Yeah.
So it's a experience put into this.
Of course, yes. This is a very experienced athlete. Winning Boston, she won together with the former MP for Jarangadi, Wesley Korir, in 2012. Yeah.
So she's a person with lots of experience, and probably that's why she's outwitted the 88 other athletes. Remember, we still have the shot of the finish line, and the second placed athlete has still not come in yet.
You can imagine, Sharon Cherop is a businesswoman in this town. She has her own fans here. You can imagine. Yeah.
So the second placed athlete has not still yet crossed the finishing line. We are waiting to see who finishes second in the ladies marathon. There she comes. You can see on the right side of your screen the ladies marathon. That is the second placed athlete coming in the females marathon, and a few meters away from the finishing line to take home the 2 million shillings up for grabs for the second placed athlete in the women's marathon. Of course, coming in right there, bib number 001. She is the second placed athlete here in the Eldoret City Marathon, finishing second behind